Hello folks, and welcome to the stream. My name is Shara. We're going to be doing some story levels in PowerWash Sim tonight. I'm probably not going to begin properly until 8:05 Eastern Standard. So in the meantime, I'll wait for folks to pop in. I have to find a way for y'all to be able to hear my desktop audio better when I'm in this status. Because I have background music going, and I don't think y'all can hear it right now. So apologies for the awkward silence. Oh, you can actually hear it? Maybe it just wasn't loud enough last time. Thank you for joining, Tori. How is the music? How is the volume stuff? Am I loud enough versus the music? Hi, Brian. Thank you for joining. I'll have to have your assistants, both of you, with the music, and let me know how the sound volumes are. Good. And then the game itself, of course, doesn't do much in the way of audio, aside from the spraying noises. So I guess we should be good. Copyright-free lo-fi. Yeah. Hi, Coons. Thank you for joining as well. I appreciate you joining in. I'm gonna give it another 5 minutes or so for folks to pop in if they so desire. Yeah, I usually, if I don't know what else to do, I do definitely tend to default to lo-fi, simply because it's easy to listen to. Also, I'm concerned about your Brian, I'm concerned about your emote that you're using there. I don't know I don't want to know what channel has a twerking emote that you got that from. Sounds about right. Gay chaos, that's all you need to know. I don't actually watch many streamers. I'm trying to get into it more, but with the job taking up so much of my time during the work week, I typically don't even watch much of anything when I get home. Hopefully that'll change once I get more accustomed to things and get my rhythm going. Now, that emote you just used said donut. I thought it was what do you call them, a lifesaver? The fruit candies? Kinda looks like it from a distance. Maybe I subconsciously want candy. And Coons is having fun with all of the Sam Gamers emotes. They're very cute emotes, I must say. Alright, we might as well get started properly. So we are going to begin with the first one in story mode. Harper Shaw is the character here, and he's, I guess your first friend in the game? It's never really explained, but it's sort of intimated that he has known you for a while. But, so this text goes, "Great news! Finally found a van for you at the auctions under your budget. Don't freak out when you see it. It looks like it's just been dredged from the bottom of a lake, but that's a good thing. It means no one else bid on it. They missed out. Underneath that hideous layer of gunk is your perfect workhorse. Engine's a dream, no rust, there's even equipment in the back. Just needs a good hosing down and you're in the business. You'll certainly earn your pressure washing stripes getting this thing clean." Hi Kit, thank you for joining. I hope everyone has at least had something for supper, or a snack. So this is... we drive this car for the rest of the game. It's just, you know... I love the fact that this is bird poo. Alright, might as well get started. Of course, normally when you first clean this thing, it takes a while since you're on the first ever power washer. But I, you know, have played the game quite too much. So I have the best power washer, and it's not going to take nearly as long. As a result, and from knowing these levels, I'll hopefully be able to get through a lot of these story ones tonight, especially because the beginning ones are much shorter than the later ones, and the DLC ones. hope everyone's having a good weekend. Today's the first day of my weekend due to how at present I'm having Sundays and Mondays off. That might change in March. It depends on what schedule they're going to give me. We just went through shift bid, and since I'm towards the top of the ranks in my little training class, I should get slightly better choices than other folks. So we'll see. I chose a couple options for a 4-day work week to ensure I would have Wednesday off for Wednesday stuff that I do with Kit. I love the fact that this van, like, that he randomly bought at an auction for us, just has power wash services ready-made on it. Just, send me a message, Kit, and we'll... a private message, rather, and we'll hash stuff out if need be. Let's see, which tire is still dirty, then? Is it you? Yes. Boop. There we go. A nice and quick job. Just walk up and ask the tire, "Are you still dirty?" Van looks fantastic. Told you it'd be fine under the grime. I pinged you the 100 left over from what you gave me, so that should help get you off the ground. Also, just met my neighbor over the fence, grumbling about his dirty backyard, and told him to give you a shout. Looks like you've got your first customer. The thing is, there's messages, but like the other things, I can't see the messages just for this job. They're mixed in with the rest of the game, which is a little bit of a pain. Not vehicle. Locations. Because this is our first job. So Calvin is, he pings us a few times, but he's, the next person, Calvin Miller. Hey, Doc, I hope you like a challenge, because I'm pretty sure I've got the dirtiest backyard you've ever seen. That's not me bragging, by the way. I had nothing to do with it. I've just moved back to town for a bit to help my folks, who are both down to their last knee, and rented what I thought was a great little place. Should have questioned why there weren't any garden pics in the ad. They must have bred rhinos here or something. Anyway, my girls are itching to get out there, and I don't want them still itching when they get back inside, so please do your thing. Thanks a lot, Cal. So this job in particular has changed a bit visually since the game was still in early access. For instance, this wall here was white. So it was definitely a lot more washed out. This used to be bright blue. This thingo here, this umbrella. And this used to be like a weird dark color, this fence. So they've changed a few things to make it more visually appealing, which is nice. Yeah, this is a cute little backyard. Some of the others said that the music was okay. Are you finding it to be too loud? I mean, if anyone thinks that the music's too loud, I can definitely turn it down. I'm not protesting. I'm not sure. So long as I'm audible over it, then... Hi, Sandra. Thank you for popping in. You're fabulous, bride. But if it is a little bit too loud, I can turn it down a smidge. I was going to say, out of everyone here, I think Coons is actually the eldest person in the chat. Actually, aren't you younger than me, Brian? Don't complain about being old. So because you're gay, it counts as you being older. I guess that makes a certain amount of sense. You're just gonna disappear into light like the Doctor or something, I don't know. Did I get all the stepping stones? I don't remember. Oh, so we're... Brian, you're about the same age as most of the chat. If not a little younger. I mean, my character in House Flipper is apparently like either a Jedi or a telepath or something, being able to lift... Or no, it's this game that I was making fun of for people being able to lift like huge scaffolding effortlessly. And the original House Flipper. I feel like you would be a nicer version of Qui-Gon if you were a Jedi, Brian. Because actual canon Qui-Gon Jinn's a prick. Crossover City, baby! Because at least right now I am sort of being a waterbender. God, I haven't watched Spaceballs in like a decade. I should really rewatch that. The older I get, the funnier movies like that are. Oh, I don't know why that made me think of SpongeBob for just a moment, probably because of all the S's. But, listen, you gotta go with the high black boots a la Luke Skywalker. That shit matches everything. can't be defeating Sith if you ain't look cute. That's why Anakin got his arm chopped off by Dooku, because his drip was too weak. Jesus, that one's... He definitely didn't pull off the Padawan haircut as well as Obi-Wan did. I don't know what that means, Kit. I think that dude's name is Key Addy Mundy. Listen, you can't defeat the forces of evil if you ain't look cute. That's why Sora has like 6 different outfits in all of the games. Gotta keep up to date. Oh, Yellow Force Lightning. Oh, that was a choice. Did y'all know that? So there is at least one Jedi that can canonically use Force Lightning who isn't a Sith, and it's Plo Koon. He can use Emerald Lightning because he's a Baron Do Sage, and he's a boss ass bitch. I love Plo. Everyone loves Plo Koon. If you don't love Plo Koon, don't talk to me. He is a father to his troopers during the Clone Wars, and he does his best. Listen, if he had been there to fight Palpatine the night that the temple fell, like, Palps would have been done. So you see more of him in the Clone Wars show than you see in actual canon. So he's a species, I forget what the name of his species is. He's a humanoid. I think he's basically an insect. You never see most of his face because it's, the bottom half of his face is in a gas mask, and the top, his eyes are behind goggles because, oxygen is poisonous for his species. But, like, he's a member of the Jedi High Council, he's a very good fighter, and, like, fandom, like, he's very parental towards his troopers in Star Wars, in the Clone Wars. The commander serving under him is Commander Wolf, who is also one of the only ones that lives through Order 66 and comes out the other side sane and not under the Empire. Yeah, he's a big old tall man's. I think he has either a green or a blue saber, which I know doesn't really differentiate him. But he's got a niece called Sha Kun, who I think really only shows up in some of the novels. But she's a canon character as well, and it's one of the rare instances where we get blood relations that are multiple blood relations in the temple that are allowed to communicate with each other. Because really the only troopers that we know of, at least in the main shows in canon, are the only troopers that, like, survive Order 66 and, like, live until Endor, the Battle of Endor, are, like, Rex, who was Anakin's technically commander because he did the work of a commander, but his rank was captain. And he's a blonde clone, one of the only ones we see. Because any clone that doesn't look exactly like Jango risks getting, like, euthanized by the Kaminoans really early on. And then there's Rex, there's Gregor, and that poor fucker is canonically mentally ill and, like, has undergone a lot of torture and shit, so he's a little deranged, but I love him, and I feel so bad for him. And then there's Wolf, who, like, is missing, has, he has a scar. He's kind of iconic because he's got, one of his eyes is mechanical because it got taken out by a Sith during the Clone Wars. Yeah, I can see you being a Twi'lek, Brian. Well, Kit, if you ever want... I mean, Star Wars is one of my special interests, so I know perhaps too much about it. Although some of my knowledge is no longer useful since a good chunk of it did come from some of the novels that are no longer canon. But yeah, I know quite a lot about Clone Wars, more than I should, really. I have a Boba Fett backpack for a reason. Honestly, like, I know that everyone shits on Phantom Menace in that generation of the prequels, but to me, like, they made the galaxy much more real and lived in. I think that, like, it could have been much better executed, but I understand where George was going with it, and I feel like the galaxy feels a lot more alive and lived in the prequels, which makes the fact that, you know, so much is lost due to Palp's shit that much more, like, heart-wrenching. Because it's a very vibrant and, like, shiny galaxy. So, like, for it to be reduced as much as it is by the time that the original trilogy comes around, it's a very big contrast, and it shows you just how shitty life is under Sith rule. Yeah. I gotta play the Old Republic. I've never actually played a lot of those games, but I would like to. I gotta sit down and play some of them. Yeah. I do love Star Wars, like, not so much for a lot of the canon shit, because, like, what is and is not canon, they keep shifting, and a lot of their recent decisions are extremely shitty. But I love it as a fandom, I guess. It's a fascinating thing. Which era, Coons? The Old Republic? That would be nice. They did my boy Luke so fucking dirty in the sequel trilogy. Or, the most recent trilogy, I mean. I'm just unimpressed. It's like, ah, yes, thank you. Like, actually, no, I'm not even gonna get into my feelings about the sequel trilogy, because if I do, I'm gonna be complaining all night. But long story short, like, they did Finn extremely dirty in a way that's kind of racist to him and to his actor. They had very poor writing. They didn't plan anything ahead, and I'm just extremely disappointed at the utter lack of the sheer amount of potential that was lost. But I guess that's what fandom is for, so that's why I'm sticking to fandom for a lot of shit. So I actually did go to, when I went to Disney this past, I think it's been 3 years now. No, less than that. It's only been a year or so. When I went to Disney with my buds, and I did go to the Kingdom Hearts land, Batu, their little section there, and that, I gotta say, that section was a fucking treat. Yeah, the movies take on Force abilities and usage is so kind of boring and limited compared to the other media, like the comics, the games. It's all so much more interesting than what they do in the movies. Even the animated series has much more fascinating takes on Force usage. Oh, by the way, Sandra, I wasn't ignoring your comment. I just, the original movies are worth a watch every now and then. Yeah, no, the Unleashed comics, are, a lot of the comics are so much more creative than the films can be. There's a reason why it's just a lot easier to... Not everything needs to be live action. I think the comics are perfectly valid. And there's a lot of storylines in the comics that wouldn't work very well as live action. And that would work better as animated. And that's why I really like the animated series, like Rebels and the Clone Wars. Because, I don't know, it's just a lot cooler to me. Not everything needs live action. Yeah, it would be nice to do that, Sandra. There's... One of the comic series is about the Wandering Masters. So there's a handful of masters that, were at one point during the Clone Wars kind of wandering the border of the Outer Rim, doing what they wanted to do and not what the Order told them to do. So there's Noel Venari, who is one of the Bothons, which are basically the cat people of the Star Wars universe. And, she canonically can breathe fire. She's, one of the only Jedi who can, which I think is hilarious and really neat. There's this other master, I don't remember his name, but his family has roots on Tatooine. And the fact that they never used him in canon, I thought was a fucking shame. There's actually multiple Jedi Masters who have family, or have, roots on Tatooine. Not the same as Anakin, but, there's Asherad Het, who, was raised by Tuskens. And I think he only ever shows up in, a couple of comics, but, he's legitimately a human Jedi Master who was raised by the Tuskens, the Sand Folk. So, the fact that in canon, he never finds out about the massacre of the Tuskens and, fucks up Anakin over it, I thought was just such a wasted thing. But, yeah, Sandra, watching stuff is a lot more fun with other folks. I mean, I do agree with you, Coons. It was but part of the problem is that, the writers for the comics, the movies, the animated series, everyone has a different take on, the Jedi rules, basically. What do you folks think of as, like, they talk about how connections are forbidden. And it's like, okay, but, like, sentient beings are going to form connections. And there's a lot of folks who interpret that as connections with other people are not inherently bad, but being possessive or controlling over others in a relationship and being willing to, like, ignore your duty for their sake is an unhealthy connection, and that is what they're trying to prevent. I mean, I get what you're saying, Brian, but I think it really depends on how you interpret the Jedi. Because like I said, everyone who writes Star Wars shit interprets the Jedi completely differently. Well, it's like the movies talk about how you're not allowed to love, but plenty of the comics have more, like, more complex discussions about, like, the ones with Ayla and Quinlan. Quinlan you never see in the main series, but he's one of Obi-Wan's friends, and his Padawan is Ayla Secura, who is she's a blue Twi'lek, and we see her some during the movies, and she's, you know, one of the more famous characters because she's the one, like, who wears, like, the tight leather pants and, like, the tank top, and she's a really pretty blue Twi'lek. And they, in several of the comics, they have a very complex discussion about what attachment means, and the fact that you're allowed to care for people, but you cannot allow that care to become obsessive and controlling. And that aspect of it is what I've always thought of as what they're forbidding. But I think understanding the Jedi as a monolith is a bad idea, in the same way that it's bad to try to interpret real life religions as a monolith. All different characters have a different understanding, and that's of what it means, what attachment means. And that's part of what makes the series interesting, and it's part of what causes interpersonal conflict. Like Yoda, for Anakin to have gone to Yoda in this last movie of the prequel trilogy, he probably should have gone to someone else, because Yoda's understanding of everything is really old-fashioned. Like, he's almost 900 years old. His interpretation of everything is extremely, like, limited. If you were to go to, like, Quinlan, or even, well, probably not Obi-Wan, because his relationship with Obi-Wan was strained at the best of times. But, like, if you were to talk with that's a problem. That's one of Anakin's problems. So he should not have been Obi-Wan's Padawan right off the bat. First off, he's too young. You're not supposed to start having one until they turn 13. So, like, he shouldn't have gone straight to being a Padawan. He should have been brought into the creche and raised alongside kids his own age and helped to, like, catch up with the cultural aspects and everything else. They shouldn't have forced Obi-Wan to take him right off the bat, because he didn't get the chance to make any friends. And that's, like, actually a plot point in some of the comics as well. Like, he basically was isolated, and Palpatine helped keep him isolated. Obi-Wan was doing his best, but Obi-Wan was a brand new master, like a brand new knight. He was nowhere near prepared, and Palpatine was already, from the get-go, was influencing Anakin to not make friends around his age group. So, like, yeah, I'll have to get, like, a list of some of the comics I remember. I haven't read a lot of them in years. Yeah, because, like, Obi-Wan did his best, but what Anakin really needed was to be put into the creche, spend a couple of years adjusting, and then Qui-Gon really fucked everyone in the long run. Because, like, yeah, no, it's not a surprise, because he wasn't given the support he needed, but also, did Qui-Gon ever tell anyone that Anakin was a slave, aside from Padme? Did anyone tell Obi-Wan? that was never established on screen. How much of this was Obi-Wan going into a chunk of this blind? If he didn't know what support the kid needed, and he should have been seeing a mind healer, which is the Star Wars version of a therapist from the get-go. And they exist in Star Wars, they exist in the temple. So, like, but if Obi-Wan didn't know what issues Anakin had from the get-go, how's he supposed to help fix them? Like, Obi-Wan is not faultless in this situation, but he's also not the main problem. Like, he did his best, but, like, he was being thwarted at every step by the Council, who really should have just accepted Anakin, let him spend a couple years in the creche as a free person, and figure out whether or not he actually wanted to be a Jedi, instead of forcing him to be a Padawan right off the bat, which, like, alienates him from all the younger kids that are his age in the temple, because, like I said, Padawans don't get chosen until they're 13. So automatically, you're putting him in a scenario where, like, he's not able to spend much time with kids his age, because, like, it's just, I'm just babbling at this point, but basically, yeah, like, the situation and numerous things kind of fucked everything off the bat for Anakin. And the thing about the Order is, the Jedi Order as we see it in the prequel trilogy, isn't the Jedi Order really as it's meant to be, because you got something that we see throughout parts of some of the comics, some of the extended universe books, and hints in canon, is that the Sith have been working at chipping away at the Jedi Order for millennia, hundreds of years. Like, one of the established facts is that, in canon, at the time of the prequel trilogy, there's only supposed to be one knight per Padawan, or one Padawan per Jedi Knight. It used to, in canon, or it used to be that you could have multiple Padawans, but the Senate is part of what influenced a lot of their decisions. So the Sith, via the Senate, has been helping fuck over the Jedi Order and its tenets and its rules for millennia. So, like, yeah, so the Jedi Order isn't what it should be, and that is in part due to their own decisions, and in part due to the influence of the Sith via the Republic. Oh yeah, like the Sith, you know, they have the rule of two, and even that was being, you know, messed with, because, you know, you can't expect people to follow the rules. One of the rules of being a Sith is to literally murder your master. But the Jedi, at the time that the Clone Wars begins, there are barely 10,000 Jedi left, when there used to be millions. And they're forced to be in charge of all the literal millions of clone soldiers, because they know that if they don't, A, the Republic is forcing them to, B, if they do not take control of the clones, they're going to be in the hands of others who don't have the same morals that the Jedi do, and won't be trying to keep the clones safe. And, you know, like, as much as possible in war. Like, at least, but the Jedi are not meant to be generals. And it really, I mean, that's part of why so many of them died during the war, especially in even that first battle in Geonosis. They're not trained for this. So it was an excellent trap that the Jedi could not wiggle their way out of. Yeah, with the Sith having been established as being, like, interwoven into the Senate for hundreds of years, it's surprising that the Jedi were still around at all, because Palpatine wasn't the first one of them to be in the Senate. His master, Plagius, was Hugo Damask, who was part of he was related to, like, he was also, I think, he was a former senator. I'm not sure if he was a former chancellor, but he was definitely a very powerful former chancellor, or former senator, sorry. And so, like, the implication is there have been Sith in the Senate for hundreds of years affecting what the Jedi can and cannot do. And they actually go into this in some of the novels, that they're only allowed to send a certain amount of Jedi on missions and stuff, and only certain missions. Like, crap, what am I thinking of? Like, in the Obi-Wan novels, when he's a kid, like, they talk about it quite a lot, that the abilities of the Jedi are being hampered by the Senate, because the Senate will not support them and give them money to support themselves unless they follow the rules. Yeah, the White Mage, I mean, White Mage doesn't last too long without backup. That's true. I mean, the only true White Mage of the Jedi is actually one of the Wandering Masters I mentioned earlier. And her name is Faye, and she was older than Yoda. And she's actually implied to have taught Yoda. But she sacrificed her life to get, to save Obi-Wan, so at the very, very start of the war, so Obi-Wan could save all the clones from a disease that the Separatists were spreading. Doc, the yard looks fantastic. There are a couple of budding mountaineers already clambering over the rock garden, and I intend to join them. Thanks again on a great job, and if I hear of anyone in need, I'll send them your way. Okay, and then I don't remember... Okay, what is the next one? Okay, it's the bungalow. So, we just cleaned a house for Calvin. This is another one for Calvin. This bungalow belongs to his parents. Hey Doc, you know I mentioned my folks? Well, I think it's time their bungalow met your pressure washer. It's so filthy it's hard to tell where the ground ends and the house begins. When I mentioned you to Ma, her eyes lit up. Pops moaned and said the browner the porch, the warmer the torch, which clearly means nothing, so he's overruled. If you can give me the place a good cleanup, I'm sure it'd give them both a lift. Thanks again, Cal. Well, there's actually multiple types of Jedi Coons. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but so there's Watchmen, which are usually Jedi that are sent alone to guard a certain sector of space and report things back to the Jedi, to the Order. Which Dooku technically was doing for a lot of his career before he became a Sith. There is, I don't remember the name of it, Consular is another one that is what Obi-Wan is, I believe. As he's he can fight, but he's also like heavily taught, even more so than a regular Jedi, about negotiation. And then there's ones that are like specifically like, basically the Night Knights, like the fighty people who are sent to when more battle stuff is required than usual, which is what Anakin was on his way to becoming. Yeah, different classes. I know, and part of the problem with talking about the Jedi and Star Wars and everything is, like I said, it's the same problem with a lot of comic books. There's so many cooks in the kitchen. Like, every new person that writes about or talks about or does stuff for Star Wars does it slightly differently. Yeah, mage, warrior, skill-based. Basically, that is accurate. You've got, like, diplomatic Jedi, like Watchmen Jedi that are more battle-trained and there to protect sectors, and you have folks that are more battle-themed. One of the Jedi that died to Palpatine, his name was Agan Kolar, and he was what are they called? The same type of alien as Darth Maul. And he was more of specifically like a battle Jedi, even though he was on the High Council. Man, I gotta go back and reread. There's several books that are just about Mace Windu's like lineage, Like, Mace, specifically, is a fucking incredible Jedi, and I love him. I know everyone's like, but he's so mean, but, like, the books about him, the comics and stuff, like, he's such a fascinatingly complex character, because he's one of the, he's like, he invented his own, okay, let me back up. So every type of, there's 7 types of main fighting styles that the Jedi have. They all have different names, they have different, like, form, they're called, like, forms 1, 2, whatever, and they all have specific names. The one that Obi-Wan uses is called Soresu, and it's for protecting people. And Mace Windu is one of the only people in the Order to have made his own, like, Jedi form. And he's still a relatively young human. Like, well, he's a near human. He's from Haran Kal. So they're close to human, but not quite. And, like, he made his own battle style. It's called, with a couple other people, one of whom fell and left the Jedi Order at the same time as Dooku. It's called, the style is called Varpad, and it specifically focuses on balancing light and dark within yourself. Like, you have to slightly lean into the dark side to use it. And like, at no point does he ever fall. So, like, I just think he's a fucking baller character. And then, like, it's his lineage. Like, he taught, his Padawan was Depa Billaba, who was the youngest person on the Jedi High Council. She's, she's the Indian-looking lady, and by Indian I mean, like, the actual Indian, not Native American. And she's from a planet called Chalacta, and she actually had a twin sister who was also a Jedi that had gotten killed near the start of the war. She died to protect her Padawan Caleb, who lived through Order 66 and became Kanan Jarrus. And he's the main character of the Star Wars Rebels series. So, like, I don't know, man. I have a lot of feelings about Star Wars. I should just stop talking about it now because this isn't a Star Wars stream. I do love the fact that, like, Mace Windu's... They're, like, it doesn't really have anything to do with race, but it's very funny to me that there's 3 main people there's like 3 or 4 main people in Qui-Gon's lineage. Like Dooku, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Anakin. They're all white dudes and they all cause a lot of issues for the galaxy. And like the 3 main people from Mace Windu's thing, they're all people of color and they all like sacrifice themselves to try to do their best to save the galaxy. Oh yeah, Grey Jedi are definitely a thing. Like some of those wandering masters were technically more Grey Jedi than standard Jedi. And in canon, in certain bits of canon, there are temples on other planets, specifically on Corellia. There's a temple of Jedi that follows slightly different rules than the temple on Coruscant. And and the novels about Obi-Wan, as for him growing up, like, the main temple on Coruscant, that's not the only Jedi that exists. I've mentioned this in a previous stream, but at least in that version of canon, there were corps, like CORPS. Like, there's a Explorer Corps, which has Jedi, like, pilots that go out and look at things throughout the galaxy. There's, like, the Edu Corps, who set up schooling and stuff on different planets for planets who don't have education systems. There's, like, the Agri Corps, which focuses on growing things and restoring destroyed, like, environments. there's multiple different, like, sections of the Jedi that aren't just the ones at the main temple. But they kind of got rid of them in the movies canon, because that was too complicated, of course. And, like, you can't have loose threads running around the galaxy when you want the story to go into the, you know, the original trilogy. I would agree with that, Coons, that the Grey Jedi... It's like the Grey Jedi have a great deal more balance. Like, technically Mace Windu, at least in the books, is more of a Grey Jedi than he, due to his use of the dark side for Varpad, because he has to maintain balance within himself at all times. So, like, that's infinitely more interesting than sheer black and white thinking. But I suppose that's true for many things, but you also have people that... I was about to say that more complicated things are more interesting to people, and then I remember that there's people in real life that think the Empire were, like, right, and, like, say that, like, that Palpatine's awesome and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, you guys are just one step away from being Nazis. Like, people that think the Empire were right in Star Wars are literally just, like, baby Nazis waiting to like... I don't know. I'm not making myself understood very well, but I think you know what I mean. Given that the Empire is, like, explicitly based on the Nazis, per George Lucas. And there's people that think the Jedi Order were terrible people, and it's like, I mean, they were strict, but they also did their best to help people, so, like, I guess you're always going to have readers and consumers of media that fundamentally misunderstand the message that's trying to be sent. Or to whom complexity of character is too complicated and they just don't pick up on it. Yeah, the parallel is... I mean, literally, George Lucas came out and said that he explicitly based the stormtroopers and the Empire on Nazis. So, I don't trust people who think the Empire is cool, basically, is what I'm saying. Yeah, the world is infinitely more complex, and we have to make things a little bit more simple in fiction, because, I mean, reality is too weird for fiction and too complex. To have a story that people can digest, it has to be slightly more simple than reality. But that doesn't mean that, you know, there cannot be complexity. Yeah, like, yeah. Humanity is not and never will be black and white. There's two sides of every story. That's not to say that in some circumstances, one side isn't, you know, committing war crimes, and other people are just trying to survive, like Russia and Ukraine. But, like, yeah. Sometimes it is more black and white. Yeah, we can talk about order all we want, but just the nature of humanity is that we are too complex to keep orderly. guess that is... I mean, Star Wars is an excellent example of fiction talking to reality, talking to fiction. People who think that fiction doesn't have an impact on real life don't know what they're talking about. Like Star Wars, Star Trek, a lot of this stuff, like, has impacted real life things, and vice versa. So, like, it's important to be able to look at fiction and what it says about the people who wrote it, the culture it was written in, and the time period it was written in. Because a lot of it, like, in a couple hundred years, if we make it that far, Star Wars might not resonate the same with that audience. Simply because it's been so long since it was written. Maybe a lot of things will change by then. In the same way that, like, some older fiction from a few hundred years ago doesn't have the same impact on us now. But on the other hand, maybe it will still resonate. The same way that, like, oh, I don't know. There's plenty of older fiction that still is very impactful nowadays. I guess that speaks to the human condition. I guess it really is a case of the more things change, the more things stay the same. Specific things aren't going to remain as impactful, but the stuff that's specifically about human nature, I think, still will. Because that has yet to change. People are still gonna be people, ultimately, I suppose. Regardless of what year we're talking about. Can you tell I was an English major? Oh, good. My roommate's been playing Tales of Arise, and it's on sale right now, so I grabbed it. And it just downloaded. I don't think I disagree with you, Coons. Like, on the one hand, like, for example, there's been a lot of discussion in writer circles, at least some of the people I watch or listen to, about getting rid of stuff like homophobia and transphobia from fiction stuff that isn't based on Earth. Sci-fi and fiction stuff. Or sci-fi and fantasy, rather. Because, you know, people shouldn't have to watch or read something with that sort of thing in it if it's not based on Earth. But at the same time, there's the argument that maybe we should keep that in because fiction is a reflection of ourselves. And there's pros and cons to both sides of the argument, not just for that, but for, like, all sorts of things. Like racism and sexism, etc. It's like, what place does it have in our fiction? Like, how much of a mirror is fiction of our current culture? And I think it comes down to what purpose including those things in your fiction has. Like, is it there to be a parallel to real life? So that, you know, you can see a version of yourselves in the characters more completely? Or is it simply there because because the writer can't conceive of a universe without cruelty or homophobia or sexism? But I guess that's getting too far into the author's intent. Yeah. Yeah, Tori, I would agree with you there. And I guess, on the one hand, it would be nice to have fantasy universes without homophobia and sexism and stuff in it. But at the same time, reading stuff without any of that in it, or any kind of discrimination, doesn't feel real. Because I think at the end of the day, we all know that regardless of how much our culture progresses, there's always going to be discrimination. So it doesn't read quite as real. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think hitting a balance in fiction specifically, especially when you're creating a new world for fantasy or sci-fi, there's definitely a balance between making it like grimdark and too full of suffering versus being too flawless and like almost twee, like too scrubbed clean of injustices and conflict. It's a tricky and complex subject. And to be honest, just to wrap this back around to the original topic, like Star Wars, that's part of why I appreciate being part of the fandom as a whole, because everyone has a different interpretation of the same subject, so you get to see a lot of different stuff, there's just a lot of thought being put into it, and it's interesting to see how people think about everything, I guess. I'm not really... Yeah, that's true as well, Tori. Yeah, I mean, we're getting back into like the 90s, early 2000s, like approach of don't read. Like, if something isn't for you, don't yell at the author for including it. Yeah, choice. That's why I'm grateful for websites like Archive of Our Own that have tags, so I can look at it and see what it contains and know whether or not it's gonna be for me. And I don't get mad at people for posting that shit like some of the purity culture demands nowadays. I just acknowledge that it's not for me and I stay away from it. Yeah, no, yeah. It's like, if you don't like it, don't read it. It's extremely fucking simple. But I think kids and young adults nowadays, like, they're kind of getting lost in the echo chamber of purity culture, and they don't seem to understand that, you know, you don't have to read that. Like, you curate your own online experience, and don't get mad at other people for posting stuff you don't like. Just don't interact with it. It's pretty simple, but apparently that's too hard for a lot of people now. Yes, the back button, the block button, the, you know, exclude thing on function on AO3 to make sure you don't see things with certain tags. Like, people need to remember that they are perfectly capable of curating their own experiences and not to get angry at others. Is it you? No. I just wish that the tagging and everything became more of a thing in widespread culture, not just a website like Archive of Our Own. Because I don't want to be blindsided by something when I go into a movie, you know? No, I think you're right, Coons. I think a lot of these people have been, yeah, living in a sterile environment. Like, if your house is too clean growing up, a lot of kids don't develop immunity to regular stuff. Yeah, no, you're right, Tori. It's like, how dare you have this section of things that I'm not required to take anything from, but I'm still gonna bitch about it. There's a certain entitlement about that mindset that's very unattractive. The bungalow looks amazing, Doc. Thank you. You won't believe the impact it's had. Ma's down in the woods picking flowers, and Pops is muttering excitedly about another job he's got for you. So if you hear from a Leonard Miller, that'd be him. Let's see, I don't remember what the next job is. Ah, it's the playground. This is a park warden. Dirt finder. I've got a frankly ridiculous situation on my hands. You see, some of the local children have been coming down with a curious and unsightly form of dermatitis, and a few fretful folks have been putting it down to the condition of the recreational facilities. It's all nonsense, of course, but if we could just humor them and give the whole thing a thorough hose down, I would be most grateful. Yeah, I wouldn't want my kids, like, look at all of this dirt. I certainly wouldn't want my children running around on this. So actually, this level used to look distinctly different as well. So now, these thingos, like this pole here, this section, these are all different sections now. It used to be, it was like the whole tower was one thingo in the previous version of this level. And there weren't any patterns on the floor either. So they did adjust that. Yeah, no, this is filthy. I definitely would not want my children to play here. Strange and unsightly dermatitis, he said. That's a concerning sentence. I mean, yeah, you're right, Tori. Yeah, like, people... It's choice. Fiction is a buffet. We should not be controlling what's in the buffet. We just take what we want and leave the rest of it alone. And that's why, like, censorship and stuff is such a touchy subject. It's like, there's a reason people are writing about stuff, and certain stuff should be banned. But overall, like, mostly just leave people the hell alone. Yes! Yup! That bench was, in fact, colored! Because look, like, that one was covered in sand, and, like, this one's just covered in dirt. Oh no, censorship nowadays is definitely a weapon against... exactly the kind of thing it should not be used against. Meanwhile, stuff that should be censored, like, you know, neo-Nazis and actual legitimate shitheads, are getting to roam free. It's a very irritating issue. Yeah, Fahrenheit 451 is very much the vibes. people are forgetting the reason for freedom of speech, and I don't know. I think people are very self-serving in their behavior sometimes. And I think everyone needs a chill pill. Excuse me. Thank you. But I like this level. It's very colorful. See, this always happens when I start talking about Star Wars. Is that eventually the conversation, if it's with me, will lead to like comparing shit to real life, and that leads to sort of more serious discussion. This happens like every time. Yeah, it's easier to maintain control over a populace when you burn or destroy anything that doesn't agree with your beliefs. No, you're right. Like, the whole point of fiction is to reflect reality. And restricting fiction and non-fiction due to selfishness and censoring it that way just because you don't like what it's saying, even if it's true, is a terrible thing. It's really a selfish and short-sighted way to look at the world. The entire point of fiction is to make us think. And if you don't want people to think, what does that say about you? Yeah. Well, people think that people don't seem to understand how to discuss things anymore without it evolving into arguments. Which is frustrating for a lot of things. It's like, if you disagree with the popular opinion, like, you're gonna get shouted down. And it's like, no, the entire point of talking about things is to have the discussion. Like, there are some circumstances where one side of the court is unequivocally, it's just pure wrong. Like, I will never respect someone. I'm just straight up not gonna respect a homophobe or a transphobe or anyone like that. So, like, their side of the discussion, yeah, so that's sort of understandable as to why that would devolve into an argument. But when it's something as minor as, well, some of the shit we see in fandom nowadays. Fans going after voice actors, or writers who publish shit that they don't like, doxing people, like, and then you've got, like, politicians, blocking books about complicated and complex issues, like, because they, I guess, don't want people to be educated, because educated people are harder to control. It's a complex thing. And that's why free thought is important. And that's why it's important for us to still have access to as much educational material as we can. Because we need to be educated to make decisions. I mean, yeah, that's also true, Goons. Like, the inability to have discussions rather than arguments is not a new problem, but it is becoming more of a common problem in the last decade or so. To the point where any disagreement is like being escalated into argument form, even when one side doesn't want that to happen. It's a terrible thing. Yeah, there is hostility inherent when one side of the argument isn't willing to, like, acknowledge the other people as thinking, feeling people, and instead are just nasty and hostile about it. Well, that's, I mean, honestly, Sandra, that's nice for you to say, because I feel like I'm being long-winded and, like, overly... I've started getting embarrassed these past couple minutes even talking about this, because I feel like I'm just being, like, expounding at length, like, without saying anything meaningful. Well, that's kind of you guys. I'm glad I'm at least not being boring is all. I do have a lot of feelies. I just articulating them is difficult. Yeah, and I'm not, here's the thing, I'm not right about everything either. I am also still doing a great deal of learning and changing myself. Who knows, some of the opinions I have now I might not have in a couple of years. But I guess the important part is to remain open to that change and not be unwilling to change, because once you do that, I mean, that's the mind killer. Like, for the most part, humans don't like being confronted about stuff they're doing wrong, and they shut down rather than think about why they've been confronted. So it's important to keep an open mind. Yeah, I mean, kudos to you for having that conversation with someone like that, Tori, because, like, yeah, like, that's a hard thing to do. I'm glad you had the strength for it, but it's also costly to try to educate somebody. But at least he was approaching it from a... I'm glad that he was willing to listen, and that made the difference. Yeah. Well, the fact that he was willing to listen, I think demonstrates that he, was a halfway decent person. So that's good. Actually, I took a lift ride home the other night because I didn't want to deal with the shuttles. And the guy who gave me the ride home was very friendly. And then he kept asking me if I was married and I had a husband, and it was an older man from Africa. So I don't think he was trying to be creepy. He was just genuinely curious. And he was like, well, you're not dating a man? And I was like, well, I'm not dating I don't date men or women. And he went on a little tirade about how women should not date women and stuff. And ultimately, I wasn't willing to get into it with him. I basically was well, in a friendly way, I was like, well, you have your belief and I have mine, but I'm not dating anyway, so it's irrelevant. So, and I don't think that was him trying to be cruel. I think that's just, his beliefs coming out, but I don't know. I'm hoping that people like him would be willing to listen if someone were to sit them down about it. Some folks are and some folks aren't. I think it was a cultural thing. I appreciate that, Sandra, but no, I think it was a cultural thing. Like, it's very much like, I mean, they're extremely like, they're very homophobic in a chunk of Africa, I think. And, at least a lot of the places that I've heard about, it's kind of a big thing, them being against it. And for once, I don't know, it's a complex thing. I've got my beef with parts of Africa myself, like, given, some cultures, the genital mutilation they force on women for a lot of different cultures over there. Like, I think that's fucked up, and I would like to punch people who do it, but I'm not gonna do that. And I'm not gonna yell at people about it, even though I know that's morally wrong. Because it's their culture, and I'm not gonna get into it. Like I said, I still think it's fucked up and wrong. But you wouldn't see me on a car ride if that subject came up telling somebody that they were wrong and stuff like that, I guess. Yeah, I was gonna say, Brian, I know this is something that you've dealt with before, the homophobia, so kudos to you for dealing with that. Like, the thing is that, like, homophobia is still pretty common in New England. It's just quieter in some ways, I guess. Like, the town I grew up with, like, it was pretty quietly homophobic. No one would out and out say it, but, like, it was always a thing. It's just they're just louder. Yeah, I don't know why that grabbed you, Tori. I approved it right away, though. Yeah, that's weird. I was gonna say, poor Coons, even though it's, part of your actual name. Yeah, Coons' screen name is that for a reason. It's related to his real life name. So for the automatic thing to constantly, like, flag him is kind of sad. Yeah, I understand why it gets flagged, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I gotta see if I can at least whitelist your name and stuff in my chat or something. Yeah, I think I can. I'll have to just poke around at my things. This weekend I have so many chores to do, and then, like, I also have the additional bullshit. I have to back up my Tumblr blog and delete all of my original content off of there, because the current CEO of Tumblr is, like, selling part of it to, like, this, or he's partnering with, like, an AI company. So Get good sleeps, Brian. Thank you for popping in. Get a good rest. Speaking of happier things that are... wait, Coons, did the mod think that your name was a swear? Or did they just... were they telling Sam that your name had gotten caught on the filter? Oh, okay. That's what I thought you were saying. Yeah, you're right, Tori. I did say that and that. You know, I gotta say, as much as I fucking hate working customer service, this current job hasn't been too terrible, and I've been getting pretty consistently high, like, ratings from the customers I speak with, so at least there's that. Like, I hate it, but I'm not terrible at it. I can at least say that much. There's a goat! There's a J-goat. Well, we lost a Snorlax and we got a goat instead. I hope everyone's having a good night. Best of luck as always, Coons. If I can help or be a reference or something, just let me know. I know how much of a pain in the ass it is. Best of luck, Coons. I mean that honestly. I really hope things start looking up for you. Oh, good for you, Sandra. Drawing's always good. I just put Clip Paint Studio back on my tablet. So I'm gonna try drawing with my little tablet pen on. Well, I have a computer drawing. Sorry, I have a iPad drawing pen. So I just gotta charge that and see how well it works. I want to get back into drawing more. Oh look, it's a Jake! Hi Jake! Thank you for joining as well. You don't feel like you have to if you don't want to, Sandra. But if you do want feedback, feel free to share it on there. I'm sure folks will be happy to give you positive feedback. I'm always anxious about sharing my art too, so I know how that is. I haven't drawn on my tablet or on my computer for a while, but I have been slowly drawing more at work, because actually having a desk means I can use my sketchbook again. Who'd have thought? Oh, give me a sec. I gotta take off my... I'm actually overheating. Gotta take off my sweatshirt. Actually, my dears, I think I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break and get changed into something, because I need to get changed a little bit into a tank top and something lighter because I'm overheating under my blankets. So I'm gonna take maybe 5 minutes. Yeah, it's 9:33 now. I'll be back by 9:30, whatever 5 minutes is from now. 9:38 at latest. So I would suggest doing a little bit of stretching or getting a drink yourselves. So I will be back shortly. Oh, okay, Tori, that's fine. Thank you for letting me know before I popped away. Have a good rest of your night then. Thank you for joining. And the rest of y'all I will see in 4-ish minutes. Here I go. Sorry about the wait, y'all. When I was out in the kitchen, getting a drink, my roommates offered me some tacos. And what kind of a simple bitch would I be if I did not take them up on the offer of free tacos? So I am back. I'm just gonna start my drink. Because I have some Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pep Pep. Alright. Got my drink. Am changed. time for me to get settled and finish cleaning this playground. Alrighty. Hello. Y'all can hear me, right? My mic is on. I didn't leave it off by accident again. Okay, good. Thank you. I remember watching the Game Grumps do this level, and Dan was so happy about this slide because his favorite dinosaur is the Stegosaurus. It was very cute. But yeah, I'm gonna complete this, maybe do one... We'll see what levels are after this. I think there's a couple vehicles that are short little thingos. So I should actually be able to stream during the week this week. They have me on 9 to 5. So, I'll probably do, like, another PowerWash Sim stream, maybe a Householder, maybe a stream of something else as well, just to break it up a little bit. I don't think I want to do art just yet until I have a better handle on digital art again, because I'm wicked rusty. But, maybe a different game. Actually, I just had a thought. I could make I saw a tweet about this the other day. I could put a bunch of Sims in a house that's designed to kill people and just let them do their own thing. And by designed to kill, I mean, like, fireworks indoors, with rugs under them, near fireplaces, or, you know, like, pools, Murphy beds, other dubious stuff that could kill our Sims, and just leave the Sims on free will and see what happens. I could make the house for it off stream, and then I'd be ready to go. And we can probably just watch it together and see what happens. Kit, you knew this already. Don't act like this is a mystery to you. Here's the thing, 99.9% of the time when I'm playing The Sims, I take very good care of my beans. But every once in a while... I mean, as you should. Yeah, I thought that might make an interesting stream. Just see how many Sims are still alive by the end of the stream if I put them in an especially threatening house. A very Gray Still Plays experiment of me, really. Yeah. It'd be fun to see what would happen. A lot of folks do this and like leave their Sims alone overnight. The problem with that is that unless you've got specific mods, like any pop-ups will like pause your game. So I'll probably be there to tend it. Just in case. But I won't control them. I'll just give them the ingredients and see what kind of soup they make. I mean, I could do a battle royale. There is a mod that lets your Sims actually kill each other. So, like, if we want to do literal battle royale, that's something I could do. But, one might leave. 10 enter, one might leave alive. We'll see what happens. But yeah, no, that actually sounds kind of fun. So maybe that'll be my next stream. Not sure which night. I'll try to put it in the chat like a couple of days or so ahead of time. Yeah, I'll just make a house that's very hostile for the Sims when it comes to like objects that might break or go on fire or electrocute them. Or like in the case of the Murphy bed, like break and the Sims would die as a result. And just see how many survive. Who knows, maybe none of them will die. Sims are also not real good at taking care of themselves though. Murder. Yeah, I think that would be fun, and I've been wanting to do Sims again on the channel. But come to think of it, I was never the one to stream The Sims. We did Sims together with Kit and Riku at one point, but I don't know that if we streamed that. I think we were just playing. And I can also make some of the Sims unlikable so we won't feel as bad when they die. Ooh, I can Monster Factory it up! I can make a whole little household full of freakazoids! That'll be fun! Let's see how much of the roof areas for these I can get done. So, it occurs to me, Sandra is new enough to the kit cord and stuff that Sandra, had you ever heard the story of why my wrestling character that Kit made for me has suplex as one of its primary abilities? Okay, so we were all gathered together in real life for, I think it was Extra Life, at our buddy Wayne's house. Extra Life is when you stream for 24 hours to raise money for charity for usually kids' hospitals. So I was prompted to play Yoshi's Island by the rest of the group. Because, you know, I'm the mom friend and they thought it would be funny for me to take care of a baby. But I, at the time at least, was very unaccustomed to playing games in front of people. And I got flustered very quickly. So whenever Baby Mario, because when you get hit in that game, of course, you're carrying Baby Mario, and he will float away from you like screaming. So this kept happening because I wasn't doing very well at the game, because I'm not the best at platformers and stuff. So eventually I started getting frustrated, and I jokingly told the enemies, like, you know what, sure, take him, take the baby, I don't want to deal with it anymore. And I don't remember who started the joke, but like, basically the joke was like that I was gonna suplex Baby Mario. And in chat it was like, suplex the baby, and the other folks were like, don't suplex the baby! And it probably was Riku. That sounds like a very him thing to do. And then, so like, me suplexing characters I got irritated with became sort of a running joke, and someone did fan art of a Yoshi suplexing Baby Mario. I actually still have that fan art somewhere. I do need to revisit that game. The ultimate callback. So yeah, it's just an inside joke now that, like, you know, my wrestling character has suplex moves. Suplex the baby still apparently periodically comes up in conversation and as a joke. So, yeah. Kit's version of my character in WWE, like, has suplex finishing moves, all that jazz. So, I still have the suplex the baby little fan art on my phone somewhere. I'll see if I can't share it in the kit cord. Yeah, Kuz' character has a wicked punch. But yeah, so that was that year in Extra Life. In a previous year in Extra Life, these jackwagons had me play Frog Fractions. I don't know if y'all have seen a playthrough of Frog Fractions. It starts normal and it ends very not normal. There is a great deal of me just being silently flabbergasted. For it was definitely a game, and I'm heartbroken that we don't have the footage from that, because it was extremely funny. Yes, Kit, it is a completely normal game about fractions. It sure is. That's why, you know, there is no text-based adventure portion of it, or anything. Actually, I'm not going to talk about it, because if you haven't seen it, you deserve to either play it, or watch a playthrough of it, without being spoiled. Yeah, Coons, do you remember they had me play Frog Fractions? I went into it completely blind. Yeah, it's totally a normal game. That's why after finishing playing it, I had to go lie down for a while. Yeah, it's a completely normal game. Uh-huh. Honestly, maybe, one of these years, maybe I should do Extra Life by myself if I can get the day off and see what I can raise. It would be nice. Now that I'm more accustomed to streaming. Oh my god, I summoned the Wayne by talking about Frog Fractions! It's Dwayne! Hello! I mean, that's... I actually signed up for Twitch in the first place for Extra Life. I definitely was never planning on doing it on my own. Yeah, doing it alone is kind of tiresome. I'll see if maybe this upcoming year I can get the couple of days off in a row. We'll see. I have to look it up. Yeah, I think you would do well, Kit. But hi, Wayne. I hope you're having a good night. Happy Sunday. Oh, good. You did that? Okay, Kit, did you fix that for me before I could get to it? Okay, good. Thank you for fixing that. I definitely don't want to get anyone, like we just talked about, I don't want anyone to get in trouble for using Coons' ding-dang name. I appreciate it. I very much do. It popped up for me and then it vanished, so I assume you took care of it. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Yes, you've still got some mess. Well, I'm glad that was straightened out in Sam's chat then. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. It makes sense. I should be doing these tower by tower to be more thorough, but also the ADHD is strong tonight, y'all. Hello. Thank you for joining the chat. VR. Is that a Riku? VR Fafa. Yeah, I thought it was a Riku. Hello. Thank you for joining. But yes, we were talking about Suplex the Baby, and those are sure some memories. Oh yeah, I forgot about that! I forgot about... Fuck, I wish we still had that footage somewhere of... Poor Riku was trying to... speedrun, was it Crash 2? Crash Bandicoot 2? And you died? Oh, you do have the footage, good. 'Cause that was... I mean... How would we... That's not really a... I don't know that that's a glitch we could recreate. Okay. Oh, yeah, I'll have to go upstairs for that. Okay. You done? Yes. Well, I'm glad that they're backed up, because that was sure a thing that happened. Who was it that drew that fan art, by the way, of me as Yoshi suplexing Baby Mario? I do have it. I made sure I kept it. I'll try to find it and share it in the chat in the kit cord. 'Cause I do still have that. It might even be on my phone. It was too funny for me to lose that. Okay, let me finish up here then. Oh yeah, that was the year we had the giant donation from someone who may have been the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's. Still... Yeah. I was sad that we didn't still have the footage from my first Extra Life, the Extra Life I did with y'all when I played Frog Fractions. That is footage I desperately wish we still had. But unfortunately, what's done is done. Oh yeah! God, Gang Beast fucking murdered me. Like, I was laughing so hard at, like, I got like a stitch in my side around Gang Beast. They're just so wacky looking. There's just something about that game that's so friggin' funny to me. Yeah, Gang Beast is so good with other people. There's a game with the same vibes that recently came out. I think it was called like Party Animal or something like that. It's basically the same thing, but the player characters are aminals of various kinds. Yeah, Party Animals. I've heard good things about it. It has some interesting, like, missions to do. There's, like, team missions, and there's, you know, battle royales for everyone involved. One of the levels I remember seeing was a submarine, and it periodically goes down. So you and your buddies have to fight for a spot on the highest part of the submarine. So it looks interesting. Are you done? Yes. Okay. Oh. So at work sometimes, I don't know if it's because our system sometimes gets wonky, or maybe there's just randos calling in. Sometimes we'll get calls from people and we can't really hear much on the other side. Sometimes we hear heavy breathing, so I don't know if those are prank calls or what. But we've taken to calling, me and a couple other folks in my training group have taken to calling the people behind those calls the hash slinging slasher. Just as a joke. So that's just our, like, short term now for calls where we can't hear anything but heavy breathing on the other end. You can't be spooked by a random call with heavy breathing with if you refer to them by a SpongeBob name. It is a Ultimate Chicken Horse. Oh my god, that's right. God, I think I played that all of once and I was really terrible at it, but it would be fun to play that again. I would like to get all of us together for some Jackbox again sometime. We'll have to do Kingdom another night as well, maybe. If we can get enough people together for it. Because it's always way more fun with more people. Oh yeah, King of the Castle. Yes, that's the name of it. Audience-heavy games are nice. There's that. Are you don't. Ah, that's why. Yeah, I was actually looking at Cult of the Lamb. I plan on buying it relatively soon, but I want to, like, get through some of my other games before I start tackling it. It looks... Tori, who popped out of the chat, is actually really good at it. Okay, so down here is still Dory. This game can be a real ADHD nightmare if I don't keep a good control on myself. Yeah, Cult of the Lamb would be fun. I do I do enjoy resource management games. Never tried to play one that had audience interaction before, but it would be cool. No, I don't think you mentioned it, Kit. Okay. That one's good, but... Where's the one I was looking for? This guy. Are you all set? I think so. You still have dirt somewhere. Where is your dirt? Thank you. I'm okay with an 18 plus joke. Is everyone else? This is certainly, with the amount of swearing I do, not a children-friendly channel. It's funny because I don't swear at work. So like when I do swear to someone who knows me from work, the reaction is always very funny. Yeah, so I think everybody's okay for the joke, Kid. Or the anecdote, or whatever we're discussing. Oh, Sam. She's a fun bean. See, I like that the sex update is a thing. What I like more is that it's completely optional. Sam was like, did I stutter? Well, that sounds like it was a time and a half. That's funny. Well, I'm glad you guys had. That sounds like it was very funny. And I'm glad that you enjoy Cult of the Lamb. I've heard good things about it. I just haven't tackled it myself yet because I enjoy resource management games, but they take a lot out of me. Oh, yeah, that is a interesting conversation to begin when you're trying to play Legend of Zelda. Nah. Well, I guess you'll just have to play it again, Kit, so Sandra can join in next time. I honestly didn't even realize that there was Twitch integration for Cult of the Lamb. I haven't seen the trailers yet. Does the Borderlands movie look disappointing? Oh, that's such a shame. Yeah, I thought some of the casting was weird, but I also didn't want to yuck anyone's yum, I guess, is my thought on the matter. What is Jack Black cast as in this? This is making me afraid. Claptrap? I'm gonna have to watch the trailer then. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the sound. I haven't even listened to it yet, and I don't know how I feel about that. I'll have to check it out myself then and see how I feel about it. Yeah, unfortunately, like, Lilith... I've only seen, like, a still image, and Lilith is... I mean, I hate to say that she's too old, but Lilith is supposed to be a relatively young woman. Probably in her early 30s, so like... I don't like Kevin Hart. Like, his personal politics and beliefs aren't something I believe in. So that's... Kevin Hart doesn't work as Roland. Roland is supposed to be like a relatively tall built like gentleman who is like relatively quiet and stoic. Like Kevin Hart is tiny and irritating. Super job on the playground, Dirt Finder. Looking at it now, I'll admit there may have been the odd fleck of dirt here and there. And aren't there just so many colors in this world? Too many, perhaps. Anyway, you've got those bleeding worrywarts off my back, and for that I cannot thank you enough. A fleck or two of dirt. Alright. Let's see what was next. The big house was next, and I don't think I have the energy for that. I'm gonna do the shoe house instead. Martha Hubbard is the name of this person, which is hilarious. Thank you so much for helping. Aren't you a sugar? As nice as it is having our play school in the forest, it does leave it open to the elements, and the poor thing's now so mucky is starting to rub off on the children. In the old days, we'd fill a few buckets and the children would do it themselves, top to bottom. Such fun, and most of them came to no harm. Most of them. Nowadays, they're not even allowed on the roof, never mind down the guttering, before the parents get all angsty. If you could please come and give it a good wash down, that would be just wonderful. So what I'm getting from this discussion is that the Borderlands movie isn't gonna be great. Yeah, Morty and Brick need to be part of. If this is roughly based on Borderlands 1 or 2, Brick and Morty need to be in there. Yeah, that's true. Even if it is shitty content, at least it's content. This is a pretty neat little... I mean, I would have fucking loved this playhouse as a kid, though. I do enjoy the fact that it's Martha Hubbard, too. Very fairy tale. Boys, no fighting in chat. Children. I get where you're coming from for Chris Tucker as Claptrap, but Chris Tucker's also a prick. So, I don't know, I personally wouldn't want him near any movie I would want to watch. But that's just me. Like, I do agree that I think he would get the energy right, and he has the right pitch to be irritating the correct way for Claptrap. I absolutely get you there. It's just unfortunate that there's so many shitty human beings who also happen to be perfect for these roles. It's just a shame that clearly there weren't any fans of the games that had control over casting and stuff. Yeah. I mean, with Claptrap, I don't understand why they didn't just go with his original voice actor. Like, it's not a live action... Obviously, it's still a mechanic. It's still Claptrap. Like, it's not like... It's a live technically, it's a live action Claptrap, but it's not like there's a human actor in the robot. They could have just kept his original voice actor. Ugh. But yeah, Jack Black is wonderful. I think he probably would have made a good actor in the movie in some other role. And he's a good voice actor, but I just don't think he's right for Claptrap. But I guess we'll see. Ugh. Chris Pratt is a fucking prick. Oh, that would explain it then. Why? Yeah. Poor voice actor then. I mean, if it was the voice actor's choice to not get involved in the movie, then that's more acceptable, I think. I mean, 3 was the first one I played front to back. I'm pretty sure. So I didn't even notice the voice actor difference. Because I was coming in after the fact. There aren't many company presidents that are decent human beings, unfortunately. At least not in this day and age. I'm gonna have to delete all of my original content off of my Tumblr because the president of Tumblr is like selling the part of the site or partnering with an AI company. So they're gonna be like, you know, stealing a lot of people's original work and such. So, like, a lot of modern CEOs are shitheads. Sucks is like I have to do my real life chores. I can't spend like most of a day removing my shit off of Tumblr. Like, and I shouldn't have to. But well, it is how it is, I guess. Yeah, and it is like a game thingo that you care about. You're allowed to care about it, goons. I was gonna say, Kit, I don't think any of us are too surprised that you're excited to see Moxie. So are a lot of other fans, I bet. I mean, she is a fun character. I cannot blame you there. She also has some assets I know you enjoy. Borderlands is a lot of fun. It's a little trickier playing it by yourself, especially the first and second games, because they're a little harder. Borderlands 3 is definitely a bit easier to play on your own. But, you know, think it's a little Mad Maxy. As in, you know, like deserts, psychopaths, you know, really dubious governments, big corporations being evil. Of course, there's certainly a great deal more sci-fi in it than Mad Max has. Yeah, that's understandable. Well, if you get around to play it, I hope you enjoy it. The first one, I would say, isn't as polished. They didn't have, like, because obviously it's because it's the first one. I think it's kind of important to know the story of the first game so you appreciate the other ones more. But you can always watch a video online of a story breakdown or a playthrough of the game. And then the second one is where a lot of the actual gameplay and the vibes of everything really pick up. It definitely is a lot better with other people. I've tried playing the games on my own, and it's kind of hard. And definitely not as fun. The first one is, I think, relatively cheap to get at this point. Yeah, maybe we'll play the first one sometime. And by the way, Kit, I'm sorry, I haven't looked at your chat about these next couple weeks in Discord yet. I've been kind of focused on the stream. My apologies. Trying to clean up here is always a little bit of a pain in the ass. You know, I wish I could play horror games or that I was any good at them and wasn't easily spooked. because I would love to do some of my favorite, like, I would love to play the Dead Space games on stream and talk about, like, because I can talk at length about what I find so fascinating about, like, the storytelling of those games and, like, other details, but I cannot play those games myself. I'm too much of a baby. Let's see, are all of you... No, that's not clean yet. You? That's a shame, Sandra. I hope you can play it sometime with friends. Now, I wonder if they'll ever make, like, a Fallout movie. Speaking of vault losers. A Fallout show? That would be interesting. I'll have to see. I'll have to check it out. Fallout is a game I very much enjoy, but it doesn't really lend itself well to streams unless you're, like, doing a speed run or, like, have a specific goal in mind, simply because it's so long. Yeah, the Fallout games are fun. It would mean quite a lot. The problem is that I spend more, specifically Fallout 4, I spend more time building settlements than I do fighting. Which, you know, is very in character for me. So, it would just be a bunch of very boring, streams. So at least the way I play the game wouldn't really be compatible with streaming. I also am a cheaty bitch and do tend to use, like, a lot of mods. Mostly for building shit. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. It does depend on what folks are expecting out of the stream. Man, Fallout VR would be very disconcerting. Yeah, I guess that's true. There are people who just stream very specific MMOs. So I think after I finish this, because I'm going to be finished this soon, I'll do 1 or 2 vehicles to round out the night, and then I think I'll be done. Simply because it's getting a little bit late, and I have 9 to 5s this week, so I don't want to ruin my sleep schedule. Yeah, multiplayer definitely makes the Borderlands, a lot of games, a great deal more fun. So I understand perfectly why we can't do multiplayer Fallout 4, for instance, because, you know, your character's, like, sort of nickname in that game is the sole survivor, because you're the only survivor of the vault. And you can't exactly have multiple sole survivors, that would be a little silly. At the same time, though, it'd be kind of fun to have that. I mean, yeah, that is a way to look at it, isn't it? I mean, that is in essence what I've been doing with a lot of the less story-based games I've been playing here. Okay, where in the shit? I know thank you. Okay, what boot wall is still dirty? You're supposed to show me. Show me the dirty wall. Ah, well, you're still dirty, so at least I can clean you. There. I guess that's true. I'd like to branch out into RPGs at some point as well, but I think the majority of my stuff is going to remain more chill content. Simply because trying to do stuff that's too fast-paced or too involved on a stream would stress me out, I think. Okay, where in the heckity? Because I do... Okay, let me find the other things first, I guess. See, Kit, I could never play Sonic or platforming games on chat. It would stress me out too much, so kudos to you for being able to. It's too much for me. Okay, where the fuck is now this... Why? When you select them... Okay, when you select the option on the list, it's supposed to flash out here in the regular view to tell you which one you missed. Why is there no flashies? Why are you not flashing? Rude. What, the fact that you don't do modern Sonic games makes people unhappy? That sounds like a them problem. Where's the dirt on this? Oh, there we go. This is so cute. I do love this little playhouse. Okay, so long as people aren't actually getting mad about it, because, again, that would be a them problem. You are a wonder. The play school looks beautiful. The children are so calm now. I can hear the birds in the forest again, the wind rustling through the leaves, even my own heartbeat. I hope that's normal. Look, Unleashed is a thing. It's definitely not everyone's cup of tea. Here, I'll just choose Grandpa Miller's car. We cleaned his bungalow earlier in this stream. This is Calvin's father, who doesn't know how to text, as exhibited by all of these capitals. Hello, Doc. I hope you're as good with cars as you are with houses, because I've got my old wagon out in the garage and it's dirtier than Dung Beetle Christmas list. It still turns over fine, but I'm not taking Dolores out for a spin till it's as gleamy as she is. Thanks, Leonard. Okay, him signing his text with his name that's very, like, old man texting style. I love it. Yeah, Coons, that Unleash is the one where Sonic turns into a were-hedgehog. Listen, some games aren't for everybody. I don't particularly enjoy the gameplay of Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, for example. I'm really bad at deck building games. I mean, Colors looks very cute. I'll give it that. I mean, you can appreciate a game without being good at playing it. Like, I mean, that's me with most horror games. I gotta go back and play Chain of Memories again. I'm glad that... I hope you're enjoying yourself, Sandra. I'm super bad at, like... In fact, I beat Sora's part of it, but I never beat Riku's half when I was trying to play the original Chain of Memories years ago. Because fake Riku kept kicking my ass. I beat Sora's relatively... I mean, I still struggled, especially with the fight against Marluxia, but, yeah. I definitely fared better as Sora than I did as Riku in Chain of Memories. Which boss are you stuck at? Because with Sora, I kept getting stuck every time I had to fight Replica Riku. I do enjoy that this, this car, like, Calvin's dad used to race this car. It's very funny. It's so cute. Oh, what's her face? Larxene. I'm assuming since she's, you know, the only gal at the sausage party that is Organization 13. And no, Shion doesn't count because Shion is, well, member number 14, for one thing. Now, Larxene's a jackwagon. I love how my character T-posed in front of the screen for a moment there at the very start of the playback. Doc, the car looks so fresh! You are a soap star! Haha! I cannot wait to see old Bert's face when me and Dolores streak past his front yard and he sees what a power washing pro can do. Cute. Yeah, no, Sandra, she's a character that's easy to hate. I'll do the dirt bike. Joe Average. There's gotta be something up with my dirt bike. You see, I'm one of life's winners. Every morning I put 4 slices of bread in the toaster, but only eat the slice that pops up first. When I have a coffee, I only drink the bit that wins the race to my mouth. But on this bike, I always finish dead last. I'm wondering if there's mud stuck in the manifest or whatever it is, slowing me down. I'm also kind of superstitious, so I haven't cleaned the thing in over 15 years. Thanks. This person sounds like a moron. Yeah, I would wager that something this filthy, there might be a reason it isn't performing. Or maybe it's just you, Chief. I'm pretty sure that power washing a bike like this, all the mechanical bits would be a bad idea. But what do I know? Okay, so the engine is the last piece. There we go. That one was pretty quick. Clean as an egg, you're a legend. Nothing can stop me now. Oh, it just occurred to me that at these locations, I haven't been showing y'all the cat footprints. So, in each level of this game, so one of the overarching story bits in this game, one of the few ones, talks about how the mayor's cat is missing. And the mayor... Oh, hi, buddy. There he be! There he went! I didn't realize that if you paid close attention, you can actually see him. But yeah, where's his paw prints? They're supposed to be on this roof. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. There's supposed to be kitty footprints on this roof. Maybe they're not here because I played the level too many times before? Or maybe it's a glitch. But yeah, there's supposed to be kitty footprints in every letter. Because it's basically telling you, yeah, the mayor's cat has been here, you basically just missed him. Okay, where... Yeah, there's definitely supposed to be kitty footprints in several parts of this level, and they're not here, so... Alright, I'm probably not gonna see them in this level either, but I want to take a look. Because the kitty is supposed to be... There's supposed to be evidence of them in every level. But every place today, I've just started cleaning before looking at everything. Okay, well, not down here, so... I mean, I remember them being here. Like, on this small roof, but again, I guess they're not showing up. Damn. And I'm not even gonna look in the playground. But yeah, so the mayor in this game's kind of a skeevy dude, we find out a bit later. Like, he's doing some really dubious shit for money. I think that's me out of steam for tonight, my dudes. 'Cause the upcoming jobs I have for locations in the main story are pretty long, and I know I don't have it in me to do any of them. So I think this is where I'm gonna end for tonight. That said, I very much appreciate you guys coming out for the stream. This has been nice and chill. And I appreciate you guys letting me rant about my special interests. Thank you for joining, Wayne. Have a good night, Coons. Take care and stay safe, Sandra. Get good sleeps, Kit. Yeah, and everybody else. I hope everyone has a great night and stays safe. Oh, shoot. Does anyone have someone you want me to raid? Before I get offline? Is somebody we know, live tonight? I mean, do you know if Otterly Stone would be okay with me raiding them? Okay then I'll do that. Alright. Well then I will get that going. But again, thank you guys for popping in today. I appreciate it. Take care, stay safe, and get some good rest. Bye for now. Here we go. Let's raid them.
Sarah, that's like literally the fifth raid I've gotten today already.
Fifth or sixth. You've gotten an insane amount. Yeah.
Hey Nocturne, hello Shara. How y'all doing? What's going on? What were you playing? Welcome on over to Moke Sweet Incorporated. I am doing great. I'm having a great time. I am at the mercy of Dimps. Please help me.
This is a cry for help.
This is actually, unironically, this is a cry for help. Dimps